Alright guys, gals, and everything in between. So, it came on National Geographic and I was like, whoa, I can actually watch this on time. Groovy. I'm here today to review to you Killing Reagan. Okay, so Killing Reagan is the TV movie about leading up to the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. Don't get me mixed up by the title. This is not a historical fiction where Reagan died and we can live the Bernie Sanders social dream all we want. This is a historical biopic of sorts, told based off of the book by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. Now, the book, I've always found the Killing series very interesting, because if you haven't read the Killing series, basically Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard go to all of these eyewitness testimonies. They only put chapters in the books or in the movies if they have 2+ people or verifiable proof that something happened. They will give you theories to speculate, but if there's an eyewitness, there's a coroner's report, basically the only way they will put it in is if there can be 2 people to verify the same thing. Long story short. And I find that to be incredibly interesting, because as you guys know, or at least some of you know, I am a huge Ronald Reagan fan. I read the books about him, I've read his diaries. I'm very fascinated by the man. Regardless of whether you agree about his politics, I personally am very interested about Ronald Reagan in that time in history, because very rarely do we see something like Ronald Reagan and the legacy he created occur in politics in the United States. Killing Reagan stars a lot of TV actors. This is a lower budget, made-for-TV kind of feel, but honestly, it was fantastic. As someone like me who's a Reagan aficionado, it was really cool watching the events of Ronald Reagan unfold. Now, the hardest part for me was this is taking the name of the book. The book covers Ronald Reagan's entire presidency, or almost his entire presidency. This one covers about a year of it. You're missing 7 years of stuff, to sum it up. And so when I'm watching this 2-hour movie unfold, all of a sudden it ends. It just ends suddenly. And you're like, whoa, we're not even to, Gorbachev, tear down this wall. We're not even to any of that. No, it ends really suddenly. And that is one thing I gotta say is a problem with the story, is because it's called Killing Reagan, and you get the meat of that assassination attempt story, but it wasn't Killing Reagan the book. It should not have been Killing Reagan. That being said, what is there is fantastic. A 2-hour political biographical movie about Ronald Reagan feeling like it's an hour long is just incredible to me. Straight up, it felt like it was an hour long and it was 2 hours. And I was like, holy crap, there's some movies that are 99 minutes that came out this year that feel like 4 hours. This 2-hour movie felt like an hour. The way they're cutting between Ronald Reagan, the way they're cutting between John Hinckley Jr., it is a very fascinating and fast cut, and when the assassination attempt does happen, you're breaking out in sweat. You're like, oh my god, oh my god. You feel like you're watching a real presidential assassination unfold. It's tense, the way they're cutting it. Bam, 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 bam. It just feels fast and intense. National Geographic did it very well. You could see that they had budgetary constraints. It had about the same budget of An Adventure in Space and Time, Killing Kennedy, Killing Lincoln, and so it has that TV feel. Now, that being said, with a movie like this, you don't really need a huge budget, so you get these actors that portray the characters very well. For a fact, Tim Matheson in this film plays Ronald Reagan perfectly. The first time you see the camera pan around and reveal Reagan and he talks, both my girlfriend and I went, oh my god, that's Ronald Reagan. He is the definitive actor who's ever played Ronald Reagan. Tim Matheson, if you for some reason ever watch this review, props to you. Oh my God, that was amazing to watch. Cynthia Nixon plays Nancy Reagan to a T. The casting in this film is literally perfect. And you're watching these actors act their heart out, and they do it incredibly. Like, you'll see Ronald Reagan walk away, and you'll just see Nancy Reagan, Cynthia Nixon, just turn around and be like, listen, you're not going to talk to him that way. This is how it's going to work. He's the president of the United States. You do it. Boom, 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 done. Nancy Reagan for president. I have to say, guys, gals, and everything in between, Killing Reagan is absolutely spectacular. As I said, the one downside is it's not covering his entire presidency like the book did, but you'd be looking at like a 12-hour miniseries, which, why not make a 12-hour miniseries about that? If you're gonna go this bold, they did it for John Adams, and it was amazing. So I have to say, please go out and watch this film and just appreciate all that went into the Reagan presidency around this time, the tension. It reminded me of Parkland, but like a little bit better of a film than Parkland. In the end, there's obviously ones it can't compare to, like Lincoln that Steven Spielberg did, that's just this magnum opus. But that being said, what they covered was absolutely fantastic. So I have to say that Killing Reagan is positively big screen worthy. It moves at a fast pace, and it is an interesting drama pick that could give you maybe a new perspective on Ronald Reagan that you didn't have before. So what did you guys think of it? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.
Next Tuesday is Election Day. Next Tuesday, all of you will go to the polls. You'll stand there in the polling place and make a decision. I think when you make that decision, it might be well if you would ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for you to go and buy things in the stores than it was 4 years ago? Is there more or less unemployment in the country than there was 4 years ago? Is America as respected throughout the world as it was? Do you feel that our security is as safe, that we're as strong as we were 4 years ago? And if you answer all of those questions yes, why then I think your choice is very obvious as to who you'll vote for. If you don't agree, if you don't think that this course that we've been on for the last 4 years is what you would like to see us follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have. This country doesn't have to be in the shape that it is in. We do not have to go on sharing in scarcity with the country getting worse off, with unemployment growing. We talk about the unemployment lines. If all of the unemployed today were in a single line, allowing 2 feet for each one of them, that line would reach from New York City to Los Angeles, California. All of this can be cured, and all of it can be solved. I have not had the experience that the president has had in holding that office, but I think in being governor of California, the most populous state in the Union, if it were a nation, it would be the 7th ranking economic power in the world. I too had some lonely moments and decisions to make. I know that the economic program that I have proposed for this nation in the next few years can resolve many of the problems that trouble us today. I know because we did it there. We cut the cost, the increased cost of government, the increase in half over the 8 years. We returned $5.7 billion in tax rebates, credits, and cuts to our people. We, as I've said earlier, fell below the national average in inflation when we did that. And I know that we did give back authority and autonomy to the people. I would like to have a crusade today, and I would like to lead that crusade with your help. And it would be one to take government off the backs of the great people of this country and turn you loose again to do those things that I know you can do so well because you did them and made this country great. Thank you.